Welcome back. Let's take a look at those trending topics and straight into it. First up, hashtag Bheki Cele ad hoc committee. And of course, he's the latest person to lead evidence there. And he was singing.
Like a canary.
Yeah, so much. We got to hear so many things. Listen, he didn't shy away from acquaintances and knowing people and being at places, free stays. He didn't shy away from any of it.
Yeah.
But of course, there was so much going on I must say, at the point where he said, I don't send messages. I grabbed my phone and I quickly checked. Have I ever received a message from Bheki Cele? No.
You haven't got one?
Nothing.
Well, he said
and everybody did the same thing.
He said
everybody
he hadn't even sent it to his wife.
Even the people on the ad hoc committee went to their phones
to have a look.
And everybody's like, yeah, actually.
So
Bheki Cele, a message from Bheki
he
Cele.
spoke like a man who had nothing to lose. At one point, he was actually sitting there. I was reading a tweet where somebody was saying, he's sitting there like he's at a braai, just spilling the beans with his friends. He had his arms folded, sat back, the microphone pushed towards him, and whatever they were asking, he was just throwing whatever at everyone. So,
well, it wasn't completely a walk in the park.
No, it wasn't a walk in the park.
Questions there,
absolutely.
Questions of morality, integrity, etc.
Yeah,
that got a bit tricky, but he was taking it on the chin. Like,
100%.
This is my truth. That's where it's
and that's very much so the sense that I think a lot of people were getting. Okay, let's quickly get into the next one. Tony Yengeni, that was another big story that came out yesterday as we're busy watching Bheki Cele doing his thing. Suddenly breaking news comes through that the former ANC stalwart has joined the MK party, Amapanyazi's party, and he's appointed the second deputy president alongside a reshuffle that's been led by former President Jacob Zuma. So that was why Tony Yengeni was a big talking point on social media yesterday.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, the press briefing that the Amapanyazi party held. And one of the things that came up, of course, because of the arms deal and the previous day's court ruling for the former President Jacob Zuma to pay back some of the legal fees that he used belonging to the state, and the whole issue of the two of them being the only ones who've been held accountable for the arms deal was quite interesting, I thought. So we'll see how this goes. Dual membership, is Tony Yengeni still a member of the ANC? This is the story. That's why Tony Yengeni is trending.
All right, Amapanyazi. In fact, this has been trending now for 2 days now, and this all comes after the Premier Panyaza Lesufi publicly announced that the Amapanyazi, or the crime wardens, are going to be disbanded in their current form. So, this was a big story, and the plan was that they were going to undergo intensive training, 18 to 36 months, so they could qualify as full traffic officers or other law enforcement roles. That's what he's saying now, and saying that the disbandment is phased, not instantaneous, and the unit will cease as it is now, but the wardens remain employed while these things all happen. And yeah, I mean, this was a big story, and it was that report that found that Amapanyazi were established without a proper legal mandate.
So the evidence was led at the ad hoc committee, and then of course the public protector releasing a report. But Panyaza Lesufi preempting that public protector briefing. But you now see the political detractors taking shots at Panyaza Lesufi for this, because at the time when these crime prevention wardens were introduced, that issue was already raised about the legality of where the structure is supposed to sit.
I must say, that night, do you remember that night I did that I was with the traffic wardens, and we went and we did that sort of the whole road where we were chasing the cars on the highway, and then we landed up going into Joe Slovo Park. They were there. The Amapanyazi were the ones that were leading everyone into where the drug dealer was. They were the ones that were walking around the earlier that week. So I actually got to spend quite a bit of time with them. So yeah, they're very, very young, but incredibly enthusiastic. But that I can tell you a little bit more at a different time. And then, of course, the final one, Anele Tembe. And this is now what's come out with Bheki Cele yesterday at the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. I mean, he was saying, this is to quote him, saying that I went to the President personally. I said, Mr. President, your Minister of Police is going to do something funny. And he said that the police did the investigation and they believe that Anele Tembe was murdered. And he went on the record and he did say that, and people are just now speaking about this one.
And the point he was getting at there was that it's not just about the police, because the police had done their work, they'd gotten to a certain point, but then when it got to the next leg in the criminal justice system, which is the judiciary, that's where they found themselves running into a brick wall. And he went as far as to say they did not want to enroll the matter, but neither did they want to give a certificate for private prosecution. So they didn't want to prosecute, they didn't want to release a private a certificate for private prosecution. So whole issue there. Bheki Cele, as we said, he was singing yesterday.
Absolutely.
That song continues today.